we did see that. Important to take a look there. But Steph, I mean, he started out hot. We said it. 6 made threes in the first, on his way to 21 points in the period, but he scored 13 more points the rest of the way, 5 for 16 overall shooting, right? So his 7 3-pointers tied for his second most in a finals game in his career. That is a lot, but he's going to need a little bit of help, right? If he's going to get this done. 21 points in the first, 13 the rest of the way. Who needs to step up, Chene?
You know, I would say all of the Warriors overall. I mean, we had moments where people had flashes that you're like, all right, they're competing. Kevon Looney, the defensive presence he had at times, especially in the second, was awesome. I believe his parents also had an anniversary, and I saw them walking. I was like, happy anniversary, was nice. They're happy. You know, those cute finals moments. But you look overall, I mean, their entire squad defensively, when someone is hot, like you see a Derek White or an Al Horford, you have to find a way to, you know, put the extinguisher on them. And they weren't able to because guess what? You have two superstars in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum that you're still focused on, even if they're not being so productive down the stretch. So I would put the onus on all the Warriors to really come out with a better game plan, meaning defensively finding the guys when they're really killing them, knocking down shots.
Well, Andrew Wiggins had 20 points. So him and Steph combined for exactly half of the Warriors' 108 points together. Otto Porter was doing a little bit, getting it going. But Richard, who do you need to see step up?
Well, I like what Chene said as everybody, but to me, there's a level of consistency that their team has to play with. And we talked about if we can get 18 to 22, if you're the Boston Celtics, if we can get this, you know, if we can get 16 from Al Horford, you understand those. But for the Golden State Warriors, they need a more collective, sustained effort, and that is everybody. Steph got you going. Okay. You know guys are going to hit shots. Okay. But can you defend for 48 minutes? And that is not something that we have seen overly consistent from that team. We know the Boston Celtics team will defend for 48 minutes. We just worry about whether or not they could score enough points to compete.
Yeah, but I mean, we still not pointing out individuals, and I think you need the individual.
Say everybody.
Nah, that's easier to say. That's a cop-out. And I think a lot of people will say Jordan Poole. I just think this is not the series for Jordan Poole, just for the simple fact they have too many perimeter defenders, the Celtics do. I'm going back to Draymond Green. Al Horford is doing what Draymond Green needs to do for the Warriors. He's wide open. They're leaving them open. They're denying the wings now. That's the recipe that they were doing in the second quarter, and that's what they did in the fourth quarter. And he's hesitant to take those shots. He has to take those shots. He has to be aggressive. He has to make those shots. It has to be if Draymond Green could be the Draymond of old. If Draymond Green can't be the Draymond of old, the Warriors do not have a chance at winning this series.
Well, the championships that the Warriors have won, they've really forced you to play small ball. And I think the one area of kryptonite is if you have great center production, whether it is Al Horford, Robert Williams III. Like, if the Celtics are able to get that type of production, it doesn't have to be 26 points, but 20, 15 consistently. That's what forces Draymond Green to really have that comparison of, like, you need to have a bigger night facilitating on offense and slowing them down. And I think that is how you win.
That is less rested than the Golden State Warriors were. Perk, your biggest takeaway?
Well, you know what? I think Richard brought up a great point about Al. No, you really did, about Al Horford. Al Horford is who Draymond Green used to be for the Golden State Warriors, meaning the way that he was able to stretch the floor last night. Remember, the old Draymond, before they got Kevin Durant, we used to watch him knock down those wide-open shots from the three-point line and be able to have a 20 or 30-point night. Now he doesn't do that. We're watching Al Horford. Look, when Al Horford and those guys start to make shots, guess what? It opened up the driving gaps and give the isolation plays to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
But look, my biggest takeaway was the word trust by Ime Udoka. Peyton Pritchard played 8 minutes in that fourth quarter. The way he stuck with his bench and the way that he believed in his bench, Derek White and those guys, when he believed in those guys and left them out there on the floor, it spoke volumes not only to Ime Udoka but to the team. Because when Jason Tatum came back in, he wasn't trying to play hero ball, let me take you home.
Yep.
He became a role player at that point. So the word trust and Ime Udoka.
It's chop it or drop it. We're going to drop Richard looking like an Oscar immediately.
He looks like the Larry O'Brien.
But this is where we're going to start. Remember how this works? If you guys want to talk about something, you're going to say chop it. If you guys want to drop it, we're going to say nah. We're good?
Yeah.
You need something
All right,
else
let's get it.
in there?
All right, Richard,
My cup.
you played in the finals in the Bay Area. This is where we're starting on Chop It or Drop It. Does the Chase Center crowd, was it lacking? Does it need to step up to push its team forward a little bit? Chop it or drop it?
I think we should chop it. And yes, they do need to step it up. Well, because let me say this. I was very, very fortunate to be on this early Warrior team. When Steph first broke the record, they first beat Denver in the first round. That crowd in Oracle was next level. Now, as this Warrior team kept getting better and better, them tickets started getting higher and higher, and they left the Oracle, the Roracle. They moved over here. And the ticket price is expensive. So you get more of the, like, I want to come and watch the show versus, like, I need to be engaged and involved in the show. Those are two different type of environments. And, look, the Warriors didn't give them anything to cheer about in the fourth quarter. But they do need more of an intensity here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. You got to chop it. Because in here is, like, more of the wine and cheese. In the other arena, it was the Budweisers and Loud Pack.
Yeah, that was more Steel Reserve.
No, seriously. you need that energy, especially with the young guys that you have on this Warriors team. We keep talking about the veterans, but they're playing a lot of young guys. So, look, I came in here, like, I was in here during the game, and they had more Celtic fans in here loud in
the fourth quarter.
And in the
second quarter. And in the second quarter.
At the end of the second quarter, they were on their feet.
But, like, the Celtics made a little, like, baby runs. It could have been a 20-point lead, but instead it was 12. And then at the end of the game,
Here's the thing, though. When you're comparing it to Oracle, it's always going to fall short.
100%.
However, Boston, I was doing, like, a power ranking in my own head of the hardest arenas to play in the NBA. Boston is near the top. So, Oracle, I said Oracle needs to step it up. Oracle. Chase Center. Channel your Oracle. Come on now. All right, next chop it or chop it. Perk, I'm starting with you here. Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? Who is the most important in the series? Chop it or drop it?
It's Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum, I think Jason Tatum could be the best player in this series, but in order for the Celtics to win, you need Jaylen Brown to be the most consistent player in this series. Meaning, at times, picked up the slack, didn't have it going. That's the Jaylen Brown you want to see. Up game. Can he follow up what he did in the fourth quarter and carry on to game 2 and have a combination of both of those guys performing at a high level? Now listen, it's 1A, 1B. I believe that Jason Tatum is the Batman, Jaylen Brown is the Robin, and that's not a bad thing to the idiots out there who think it's bad to be called a Robin.
Nope.
Okay? Still a superhero.
It's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Still a superhero.
But, like, I feel like if you're going to
you're still a hero. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. I just never
But, like,
know
didn't you just answer it? Because if 1A is Jason Tatum, don't you think Jason Tatum is that guy? I mean, this is the
He said most important, not best.
Okay, most important. You think over the course of this series, being able to hold it down, weather the storm throughout the highs and lows. I still think it's JT, just because he's the guy that is the one that assumed all the power here, right? He's the game changer. He's capable of going for 40, or he's capable of going for 20 and hopefully now 10. And so I think, if he plays his best version of basketball and this game 1 is an anomaly game, then they have a better chance at actually competing and beating the Warriors, considering they're facing a deficit of, playing on the road, even though they're ahead by getting that first win and knocking the Warriors from now being, before 9-0 at home, now they're 9-1. That's impressive.
Oh, it moves fast. No, again, I think Jaylen Brown is still Jason Tatum. It's Jason Tatum without a doubt. Now, Jaylen Brown is important from the same spot of, like, when Luka goes for 35-40 and no one else plays, they're not going to win this. If Jason Tatum goes for 35-40 and no one else plays win, they can't win. But if Jason Tatum goes for 35-40 and Jaylen Brown gives you 25, now it's like, yo, this is a finals team. And then if you get contributions from everyone else, which they did